Hello everyone and welcome back to the Villarreal series, episode 2 of what I've now titled Villarreal to Victory. That's the aim. We're going to try and take Villarreal not only to UCL glory but hopefully to La Liga glory as well, which might even be the easiest step. Since you last saw us, obviously that was just getting started at the club. I've made a ton of transfers, actually quite a lot. There's still plenty more to get over the line. We've had our first match in the Super Cup, which we'll talk about and show, and then we've got the first game of the season, which we're also going to show, and I've decided a tactic. There's a lot to get into, guys, lots and lots to think about, to talk about. So before we get into all of that, I'd like to ask you guys, if you could hit the like button, it really does help. If we could hit 100 likes on this video, the amount that will help in keeping the series going, spreading it to as many people as possible, it would just be massive. I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below your suggested transfers. I want to know who you guys would sign, or at least which position you'd look to improve next when we have the money to do so, of course. And other than that, you can check out the Discord in the description, and I think we're good to go here at the club Villarreal. What have we done since you've last saw us? Well, you might notice we've got a new captain. Something's gone on there. We've sold a fair few players. We've decided on a tactic and we've brought some players in. So I think the best thing to start off with, the thing that you guys are probably all waiting for, is the transfers. We've still got some lined up, so I'll keep them hidden for now. But the ones that are confirmed, let's talk about those. Our biggest sale came with a goalkeeper leaving the club, Sergio Espanyol. Now, looking at him, you might think, wow, he's a great goalkeeper. Why did we let him go? Well, there's a bit of a thing at Villarreal where both of their goalkeepers are of a very good level. You've got the 32-year-old Espanyol and you've got 29-year-old Argentine goalkeeper Geronimo Rulli, who is also, when I compared them, of a pretty similar standard. Espanyol was a little bit better, however his contract was expiring at the end of this season. We could have chose to extend it, but being one of the highest paid players at the club with a lot of transfer interest in him, I thought, you know what? Rulli's going to be good enough for us realistically, and if we were going to replace him, we'd be looking at someone better than Espanyol anyway. So I thought we'll let Espanyol go, get some money out of him, and we actually did quite well on the 32-year-old. He's left for £18 million to one of the best teams in Ukraine. He's gone to Shakhtar, where I'm sure he'll be amazing, but I think Rulli will do a job for us, and the 18 million is going to go a long way. So hopefully you can appreciate what we're doing here. Also, just to preface, I do apologise if your favourite Villarreal player has been sold, if we're not using your favourite player. I'm just doing what I can here to make this team the best I think that's possible, and also we've got to fit it into the new tactic that we're running. So if you like Espanyol, I apologise for selling him, but there's a few more that we've sold. Moy Gomez was the third choice left-sided player. He was also the third choice right-sided player. We're not really looking to use an attacking midfielder either, and then it came to a point where I was like, realistically, do I need to keep this guy? The 26-year-old Spaniard, I'm sure, is very good, but I've mentioned we've got players in a variety of positions. In those wing positions, we've already got Jeremy Pino, Samuel Chukwueze, we've also got Danjuma, who is a big signing for Villarreal, so I thought, you know what, Moy Gomez isn't going to play all that often. I figured it might be best to get rid of him, and we've done exactly that. We let him go for a bit of profit, £8.75 million on a £1.1 million signing for Villarreal. He's going to do great at Zenit out in Russia, I'm sure, but I've got to take that kind of money. You guys might call me crazy here for selling off a few of the key players, I suppose, of Villarreal's last season, but I know what I'm doing, I feel like when you see what we're bringing in and when you see all the transfers eventually, it will all make sense. So Moy Gomez has left the club. Ruben Peña was our third choice right back, I believe, behind Aurier and also Mario Gaspar, is it? So yeah, Ruben Peña wasn't going to play at all. He was already on the transfer list when the save starts, and for that reason we got offers fairly early on, which I just said, yeah, let's go. He was already playing less and less for Villarreal in real life, and Brighton have picked him up for £2.6 million. It was a similar story on the left-hand side. We're looking to play a left wing back where, in theory, Alberto Moreno would be a very good player. But we had two better options on that left-hand side, and we're also looking to bring someone better in going forward because I really want a specialised player in that left wing back spot. So yeah, you'll see in a minute who we've got already in terms of the squad depth, but Moreno wasn't going to fit in. He was already on the transfer list when you start to save, and for that reason, we got offers, we took them. He's only played 23 times after Villarreal signed him on a free, so £10 million is more than good enough for me. Off he goes to Juventus. And the final one was Paco Alcácer, who was also on the transfer list when you start, third, even fourth choice striker, I think he was, at the club. And when we're looking to use a one-striker system, there was no place for this man. I know he was good at Borussia Dortmund a few years ago, I remember him getting a lot of FIFA informs, and he's been doing a job for a few years, but you can see his career is starting to dwindle out, and I don't see why Arsenal have signed him, maybe to replace the Aubameyang void, but I don't think he's going to play all that much for them or do that well. He's not really been a Villarreal mainstay over the last couple of years, so we'll take some money for him, and I think that's another decent sale, which in total raised like £50 million of transfers that we could then spend on bringing some players into the club. And we started to do that. The only one that we've currently got over the line is Goncalo Ignacio, a Portuguese central defender who specialises at carrying the ball out of defence with some great passing, vision, and also a decent dribbler with some nice first touch. He is very much a modern day centre back. At 6'2", the left footer isn't exactly the biggest physical presence or the most dominant in the air or the quickest or anything like that, but I think we've got a great signing with the young Portuguese player. 3.5-star current ability with potential to get way better, classed as one of the best centre-backs at the club with potential to get far better than he is right now. A valuation of around £80 million. We had to spend £38.5 million to pick him up from Sporting. He was wanted by all of the big clubs in world football. We got in ahead of them, activated his release clause because they didn't want anything less than 38 million. And I think it will work out to be a good signing, and I'll show you why in a minute based on the tactics that we're going for. But so far, that's all we've brought in. As I've mentioned, we are looking to bring in a left wing back. I'm also maybe looking at a central midfielder, potentially another centre back, and maybe even a player up front. I don't know for sure. I think the striker's probably the last priority of all of them. But we are looking at making some big moves, and with all the transfers that we've made and the sales that we made, we've definitely got some money to make that happen. But what are we doing tactically? Why have we decided we needed an extra centre-back and not so many wide players, whatever it might be? Well, we did decide before that we were going to run with a 5 at the back formation, and we've done exactly that, and I've started to build towards it. I'm no longer using the preset though. I've adjusted the tiki-taka to work the way that I want it to. I haven't really adjusted the tactics on this left-hand side all that much, but I have adjusted the player roles to what I want. So what we're doing is we have 2 wide centre-backs, one who's left-footed, one who's right-footed. With the team looking to play out the back, the ball is going to go through these guys a lot, so we want players who are technically capable, but none more so than the central centre-back, the ball-playing defender on defence. This is a person who I've asked to dribble more and take the ball into this midfield area to then spray some passes out. And I think Ignacio, when he has developed quite a lot, is going to be a very good player for us. Pau Torres is perfect for that wide centre-back spot. Juan Foyth suits it very well, a player who is half right-back, half centre-back, so works perfectly in that wide centre-back role. It really does suit what we're trying to do perfectly. Then both of my wing backs I want to attack. They're going to be a key part of this system, and there's a reason why I'm looking at very specific players for these positions. If we were going to have a world-class player in any position, I'd want it to be in these wing back spots. I think it's going to be crucial in the way that we play. I've also asked them to take more risks in the tactical instructions, so they'll both look to bomb forward as often as possible, I hope, with the attack duty. The reason we got rid of Moreno is because we had, where is he, Pedraza and Estupan. Moreno was the oldest of all of them and probably the weakest in what we were trying to do, so we've let him go. But even now, Estepan might be on his way out because I'm looking at bringing someone else in. But that's the wing backs. Then we've got a central midfielder on automatic who will fill in whatever role he needs to, and a box-to-box midfielder on support with standard instructions. Then we've gone for a complete forward in attack, so a player that's going to be looking to link up as often as possible. Then I've got an inverted winger on the left and an inside forward on the right, and I hope that'll be enough for us to win some games, get the best out of certain players, but we can always adjust the tactic as it goes on. But in general, this is what I'm looking at. I'm not super sure about this front 5 and their tactical instructions, but in terms of what I want the defence and the wing-backs to do, I think we've got that dead on. And that was proved exactly in our Super Cup match against Chelsea, which you'll be able to see here, we did win. We beat Chelsea in the Super Cup 1-0 in extra time. I'll show you the goal. It doesn't really reflect our tactical style, but we were very good overall. If we do click view match, here we go. You can see that we had a good bit of possession. We played really well possession-wise, and we created a lot of chances and really should have put the game to bed. I don't know if it will let me watch key highlights. There we go. Let's watch the key highlights, because then at least you can see how we were playing. I won't watch every single one, but if I switch to a certain view, you'll see the nice layout that we had on the pitch. I was really analysing it. Here you go. This is the view I was using when I was playing on my laptop, and you can just see the way that we're playing the ball is exactly what I want to do. I can try and slow that down so you can see, but the positioning is perfect. I'm not usually one that gets too much into his tactics on this game, but particularly the centre-backs, I'm really looking for them to get involved I'm basically going two-shell style. I want my Rudiger to be Pau Torres. I want my Azpilicueta to be Juan Foyth. I want Ignacio to be my Thiago Silva, where they hold their position, but also some of them are given the opportunity to bomb forward, play some crucial passes where possible. And you can kind of see we're very dominant. The shape is very structured, perfect of a Villarreal side. They've obviously inherited that from what Unai Emery has taught them. And it was just a load of chances. It never went in. And eventually we got to the goal, which if I click here, was a 116th minute free kick from Manu Trigueros, which gave us the win. Don't worry, we won't actually use this camera for the real match. I just wanted to show you there just to see. I was using that basically to see if the tactic was working the way I wanted it to. And indeed it was, but now we are ready for a real test, I suppose. The Chelsea game, they weren't running their best team. I'm not sure how bothered they were about the match, but now we've got a match against Espanyol away from home. It's a tough start to the La Liga season, but it's not the worst that it could have been, let's be realistic. It's a game that I'm hoping, for what we're trying to do, I think we should win. You might notice that Iker Alvarez is playing in goal. That's because we sold, Espanyol, and then Rulli got injured the day after for a couple of weeks. So this young Andorran came from our B team and did fine. He actually did really well in that Chelsea match. So he's probably going to have to start this next match because I don't think Rulli is going to be fit. But let's have a look. Let's pick the team. We've gone through the tactics. We've gone through the transfers. And now we are ready for the match. Don't forget, though, do let me know in the comments where you think we should still improve. Like I say, I'm not too sure on the midfield too. I think they're still getting on in age, but Parejo is awesome. And Coquelin is a great player in that box-to-box role. He does it really well. He's perfectly suited to it, but let's pick our side. So, with Rudy injured, Alvarez is going to be our goalkeeper. He's our only other option, to be honest, so he'll be getting played. It's our ideal three centre-backs, Ignacio, Pau Torres and Foyth. We've got Albiol and Mandy available to come in when needed. We've got some players out on loan who I think will be able to make an impact when they come back next year. So for now, maybe we need one of a centre-back, a free transfer maybe, who's going to play every now and then, but other than that, I don't see this ideal free changing too much. Albiol is great, but you know, he's getting old. He's very old now. He's been around for years. Maybe we don't want to rely on him all that much. But yeah, Pau Torres has now become captain with some of the sales. Was it Espanyol? I think maybe Espanyol was captain before he left. Now Pau Torres is. Wing backs, we're going for Aurier. And you know what? I don't want Estupan. I'm going to go Pedraza. I think he's going to have a much better time of it. And with Estupan potentially leaving, there's no point testing him out and seeing how good he is. Then we've got Parejo and Coquelin as our ideal midfield too. Yeah, I think that's about right. Capoue and Abora, as well as Trigueros and Lo Celso can fill in wherever. But right now, if them two are fit, them two will play. Then we've got Pino, Danjuma and Moreno. Pino, I may be doing harshly by playing him on what would be his weaker side, because I am asking him to be an inside forward who is right-footed, which maybe doesn't make sense. But Danjuma is perfect for the inverted winger role. And Pino can kind of use both feet, so I think we're going to keep him there for now. But don't worry, he will become the main man on that left-hand side once he develops a little bit, although he is still very good already. Let's get Rudy on the bench just in case anything goes wrong. And I think we're ready to play. I'm ready to see how this goes. If it's a loss, we'll work on it. We'll work on the tactic. We'll work on the players. But I'm hoping this will be a great performance, a great start to the series. Someone actually commented on episode 1, which has just gone out about 10 minutes ago and seems to be doing very well. So thank you guys for the support on that. But someone did comment saying you should be able to win the Champions League first year with Villarreal. I'm not saying it's impossible. It could definitely happen. Villarreal are a team in the Champions League, of course. And if you're in it, you can win it. But come on, their team on paper is nowhere near the level of most other teams. I think it's a bit of a crazy call to say we should be expected to win it. Maybe say we could win it, yes, but definitely not expected. Here we go. First highlight of the game. Yeremy Pino whips it in. Pau Torres gets his head to the ball. And we win in a penalty, potentially. That'll be a great start after a minute of our management in La Liga. We might have a penalty. And we do. We've been awarded a penalty. I don't even know who the penalty taker will be. I'm assuming Gerard Moreno. It's behind my camera, so I don't know. It's Parejo. And Parejo bags it. It's our first goal in La Liga. Technically our second goal of our managerial career, but we'll take it. I'm classing this as the first one. The Super Cup isn't a friendly, but it felt like it was because Chelsea really didn't field. It felt like they didn't field the best team anyway because we really did walk them. It felt like they were awful compared to us. So maybe I'm giving us not enough credit as I should have done. Maybe we could win the Champions League first year. Who knows? I don't expect it. But let's just see how this performance goes first before we get our hopes up too much. But that is a great start to the match. Header back from Ignacio to the goalkeeper who hoofs it forward. Let's get rid of that bar at the bottom there and see how we play. Like I say, I think the central midfield role, Parejo is brilliant in that central midfielder automatic spot. He's got every attribute he needs, but he is one of the older, if not the oldest player in the squad. So I need to think about potentially maybe bringing in like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old who's not going to play much and then can eventually overtake him. It's a bit hard to plan ahead already, but he is someone who won't be around forever and we need to plan for that. But Jeremy Pino is someone I'm hoping will be. What a ball from him to Aurier. Gerard Moreno's through, and it's a great finish. After 12 minutes, we're 2-0 up. Aurier did brilliantly there, actually. Coming in, overlapping past Pino. The idea is that the two wide players, whether they're an inside forward or an inverted winger, I've asked them to come quite narrow, so hopefully they'll come inside, which will then allow the wing backs to overlap them. It makes perfect sense. It's one of the most simple tactics you could ever do, but it's working here. We've got these wing backs, expecting them to be the wingers really, and ideally the two wide players kind of come in and just work off Moreno, who as a complete forward should be expected to be able to bring in other players into the game. The complete forward position is an odd one because you really need some specialised players to play that position. Moreno can do it, but it will mean if we are to recruit to eventually replace Moreno, which I don't think we need to do, but if we do eventually get to that point where we decide, yeah, he's not good enough, we need someone else, it's going to be hard to recruit someone in that position who is perfectly moulded for it straight away, who isn't already world class, and probably wouldn't sign for Villarreal if they were world class. So we're going to have to find a player that we can develop really to be that complete forward. Could go Lorenzo Luca style, could go Piccoli, but I don't want to go for the obvious names. I think you've seen here with the signings of Ignacio. I know he's a very good centre-back, but I haven't used him in another series, and that is something that I keep in mind when trying to sign players. I want to keep it fresh. Oh, we have conceded here potentially though. We have conceded. Was that Aurier playing him on side? Was it Juan Foyth? Two ex-Tottenham players, both wide centre-back and the wing-back spot, so they're playing quite closely together. And in real life have been known to be able to make a mistake. But it looks like we've played a good line there because it's offside. How close was it is the question. Well, that's a really good line, actually. I should not really diss Aurier and Juan Foyth because that was perfectly defended. They kept the line as straight as possible and the linesman came in and helped us out there. Here's Danjuma though. Sorry, I lost my words for a second because he was dancing through. He looks very threatening so far. He's created a few chances. If his finishing was a little bit better, we could be going into half-time 3 or 4-0 up, but 2-0 is a perfect result so far against the 4-4-2 of Espanyol. And there we go, it's half-time. In that first match against Chelsea, I should note that Ignacio had a very low average match rating, and again, he's got a lower average match rating than some others might do. I've also noticed that the wing-back on the left-hand side gets a lower match rating than one on the right, so maybe I need to look at the tactical instructions there. Maybe it's something to do with the wing-back and the inverted winger not playing super well together. Who knows? I'm going to have to tweak the tactic as time goes on. But Ignacio, I'm just going to keep going. I think he will be that perfect centre-back to carry the ball out. He's got everything he needs to be the technical one of the three. Oof, but Espanyol are back in it. It was a free kick on the edge of the area, and RDT, whoever he is, has scored the free kick. It was a pretty good one. The goalkeeper wasn't getting close. Does Rulli save it? I doubt it. It was a pretty good free kick, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Bends it around the wall. It's always bending away. Unsavable. Great free kick from Espanyol. I don't know how he gave it away, but who cares? It's 2-1. We just need to make sure we don't let him in the game. Here we go, though. They do have another highlight with Espanyol on the ball on the 60th minute. But we do win it. Pau Torres to Pedraza. He hasn't got involved all that much, Pedraza, but Aurier on the other side is working nicely. Yeah, Ignacio's average match ratings so far haven't been great, but he's got a yellow card here. He's new to the club. He's younger than everyone else. He needs time to bed in. And I'm not seeing him doing anything wrong in the highlights. No stupid mistakes or anything like that. Maybe he's just misplacing a pass or two, but we're asking him to do that. We're asking him to be creative, to be technical, to be direct. And with that, that's going to come with him losing possession every now and then, particularly with a young player. Speaking of losing possession, it looks like Danjuma has done so, but then Pedraza's won it back. Danjuma then plays a long ball over to Jeremy Pino. Very technical Jeremy Pino. I'm sure he can create something. He finds Parejo. Parejo blasts it over the bar. I think we need to take our chances better. We're creating a lot of key highlights, actually, more than you might expect. We just need to make sure these end up in the back of the net. 70 minutes on the clock, though. Probably about time to make some substitutions. Thankfully, this tactic doesn't look like it's destroying people physically. I don't think we're playing super high pressing football, gegenpress style. It's still a high press, but not as much as some tactics might. So hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. Coquelin is going to come off for Etienne Capoue, and then Danjuma, who's had a decent game, will come off for Chukwueze. And once he's on, I'll switch him around with Pino, so they're playing opposite sides. We'll see how that works out. And Pau Torres, it's been suggested we should bring him off. But as a captain and as a player who is playing according to average match ratings, better than anybody else. I think we keep him on just to make sure that we do come out of this match with a win and we don't let Espanyol back in it. Oh, what a goal, though. This RDT man, Rauda Thomas, was that his name? I couldn't see it past my camera. He single-handedly dragged Espanyol back into this game. I'm hoping that my La Liga knowledge gets better from playing this save, because it has gone over the last few years, especially since I stopped playing FIFA religiously, like I used to. What a finish that is. This man is great. Is he a well-known player? Is he an absolute superstar, or have we just got unlucky against him here? I don't know. What a finish that is. A free kick as well to add into that. XG-wise, we've completely dominated it. It's harsh that we're not winning. I am going to demand more because we should be winning. Yeremy Pino with a ball in. It gets blocked. Is there still a chance from this free kick, though? It would seem there might be something on the way. But we do go back to Pedraza. On to Pau Torres. Pau Torres to Capu. Pedraza again. Now Chukwueze, who is on the wrong side still. I still need to sort that out. We've given it away. Don't tell me they're going to score again. Pau Torres, brilliant. Or Pedraza, whoever that was. Chukwueze into Capu. Capu to Chukwueze. That's a penalty, referee. That is a penalty, but it doesn't matter. Gerard Moreno has finished it off. Chukwueze's looking like a real live wire on that wing. Very good from him. Very happy with his performance there. Showing Danjuma how it's done, you could say. Actually creating a chance and finishing it. I don't know why I skipped the highlight, but we'll take it. It's a good goal. 78th minute, 3-2. Not an easy game, Espanyol. They've given us a nice run in, but hopefully we can score another one just to secure it. Don't tell me it's going to be a 3-3er. Yeremy Pino wins it back. Chukwueze. Play through Moreno. Go on, let's get him his hat-trick. Pedraza again. It's a great ball in. Chukwueze's... He scored. This man might have to be a starter. Sorry, Danjuma. Chukwueze is doing amazing. He used to be really good a few years ago in Football Manager and FIFA as well, just to put that out there. But yeah, when I looked at his attributes, he looked like he'd be good, but he's really performing above and beyond in this match since bringing him on. Is he just a very good impact sub? Is he just got lucky here? I don't know. He's got a goal and an assisted. Very happy with that. He's done well on either side. This man might be a star for our team going forward. I will now let Pau Torres have his rest and bring on Mandy. Do we get another sub? I don't know how La Liga works. We do. Let's bring on Albiol at the back and then give Moreno a little bit of a rest and bring on Dyer. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he is our other striker at the club. 4-2, 85 minutes gone. Looks like it would be a comfortable win from us here on out unless we really mess it up. It should have been comfortable anyway, if not for the Rao man, RDT, scoring 3 very good goals. Oh, don't get angry there, Aurier. I know you're prone to a red card and you've just been absolutely slammed by a player, so don't lose your head. We are working it back. I don't know why the highlight is still going. Maybe something's going to come of this. Here's Pedraza. Yeremy Pino on his preferred side, you'd assume. Gerard Moreno. Parejo blasts it over the bar. He's done well, Parejo, but he might need to learn how to keep his shots down because they've all flew over. But 20 shots is brilliant. 65% possession is brilliant. We're playing a style that I really want us to. Everyone playing amazingly according to average match ratings. That is a perfect start to a season. A win against Chelsea, which was unexpected, and then the match we'd be expected to win, Espanyol away. We do, 4-2. And Espanyol I don't think are a relegation team either. I think they're mid-table. But again, my knowledge isn't great of La Liga at the minute, and I'll have to learn it going forward. But that's a great start to the season. Very happy with that. And with more transfers hopefully on the way, the team should only get better. I imagine I'll bring it back for our first Champions League, second Champions League group game once the transfer window's done. Feel like that would be the best place to do it. So with that being said, guys, that is the end of episode 2. Let me know what you're thinking so far. Hopefully you are enjoying it. It looks like we're playing some amazing football. If we can keep that up, who knows, maybe a Champions League isn't as far away as it would seem. Don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed. You're all absolutely awesome for supporting the content. I've just done my thumbs up and I did it like that. There we go. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. You really do just make me want to make more and more videos the way that you support. So yeah, you're all awesome. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.